Welcome to episode 6 of the creative process for Danza de las Brujas Fantasmas. Today, we're going to turn this into this. But first, coffee. Love my coffee. In an attempt to make this tutorial go more smoothly than the drum one did, what I've done is I've already gotten the bass tone that I want. And then I wrote down all my settings, and I'm just going to recreate that in this tutorial. If you'd like to see video of me actually dialing in the bass sounds, please join our Patreon, and there is a video up there that is a screen capture and audio recording of me dialing in the bass sounds the first time. There are links in the description for every plugin that I use in this tutorial, as well as all the software and hardware used to create this tutorial. There are also links in the description to the different sections of this video. You can check out the description to see what sections are in the video. If you're enjoying this series, if you're enjoying this content, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so I can let you know every single time I'm uploading a video. Let's get mixing. Alright, so the first thing I want to do here is actually create a selection that covers the first verse and the chorus. And that way, I can just repeat on the section of the song that I want to work on getting the bass tones for. So there we go. I already have my cursor, well no, my cursor's all the way at the beginning, so I'm going to set my cursor right before that. So I'm going to turn my repeat on, and I'm just going to play it. When I'm getting a tone in the box, what I want to do is start in the same place I would start if I was getting a tone outside the box. So we're going to start with the amp. I am going to use a free plugin called Amp Lion Free. There is a link in the description for this. Now, as you can see, I've got an amp, I've got my cabs, I've got my mics. I'm gonna dial in that amp tone. Alright, this is a bass, so we're gonna kill that reverb. We're gonna turn the bass up some. Sounds good there. We're gonna give it some mids. And we're gonna bring that treble down. We're also gonna bring the presence down a little bit. Volume's good. I want to turn the rectifier on. Now my mics, I like to have one mic at the edge of the speaker and one mic at the edge of the cone. So we'll take this one and move it to the edge of the cone. And I like that this one will move to the edge of the speaker. that stereo image. Since using a stereo plug-in without a stereo image, turn them down a little bit. That's sounding good to me. Alright. I think I want to add some multi-band compression to this. If you don't know what compression is, it's a magical slider fairy. She sits on your slider and she watches your level and she turns your slider down really quick whenever your level goes over a certain amount. And a multi-band compressor is kind of like having different sliders for different positions on your EQ, and they just watch that specific area. I'm going to use the one that comes with Reaper, which is the Reaper X Comp. I'm going to put it before my amp. This yellow line here is my actual frequency response, my raw frequency response. So what I want to do is these bottom two, I kind of want to level them out. So let me drag this one down. And let me bring this one down to equal it. Now you can see, I've got them both kind of set to the bottom here. Now if I go back to this first one, and you see that gray line that showed up underneath the yellow line, that's my altered frequency response. If I make this a 4-to-1, which means for every 4 decibels that it goes over that amount, it is only going to increase it by 1. Turn my auto makeup off. Over to 2. Set that to 4-to-1. Turn my auto makeup off on that one as well. Hear how it just completely evened that tone out? These are telling you how much it's reducing it by. It's just bringing it right down there. The bass sounds a little thin. There's an effect called chorus. How chorus was originally created, Elvis used to double amp his guitar, and then in the studio they would take both amps and point them at one microphone. Well, when you do this, unless you're very careful with measuring where that microphone is, you get the sounds hitting it at slightly different times, and it creates this slight modulation effect. That's what chorus simulates. So if you were in a room with this bass, as those bass frequencies were moving around the room, they'd get a slight modulation to them. And that will really thicken up the bass if we add a little chorus. I'm going to use Blue Cat's free chorus plugin. I'm going to use the stereo version. Always add your modulation effects after your compression. Here. So you can really hear what this does. Let me just crank the depth and let me turn the dry signal all the way off. You hear that? Here, I'll solo the bass. That's what it sounded like before. You hear how it's just modulating that signal? Okay, we're obviously going to make it a lot less than that. we're going to do is the gain's fine where it's at, the delay's fine where it's at, but we're going to turn this depth way down. And we're going to turn the rate down. Now we're going to put that dry signal back in. We're going to turn this down. No chorus. Chorus. And in the mix, now, another thing that happens when you're in a room with an instrument is the sound bounces off stuff. It bounces off the walls, it bounces off the ceiling, it bounces off the floor, it bounces off objects in the room. And that creates the sound coming into your ear multiple times. But those reflections are much quieter than the original sound. Almost audibly imperceptible. Reverb is the effect that simulates that, but if you put reverb on a bass, it gets really, really muddy. So I'm going to use a slapback delay to simulate that. Again, I'm going to use the one that's built in, that comes free with Reaper. For a slapback delay, you want this generally somewhere between 80 and 150 milliseconds. I'm going to go with 110 milliseconds. Let me solo the bass so you can hear it. Put it before the amp. No delay. Delay. Turn it down a little bit. And in the mix. Hear that just livens that bass right up? Alright, now this song is called Dance of the Ghost Witches, Danza de las Brujas Fantasmas, but I want that bass to just boom, almost like it would in a dance song. And so I'm actually going to borrow a trick from EDM. I'm going to do a sidechain compressor. That means that I'm going to set a magical slider fairy on the bass slider, but instead of having her look at how loud the bass is, I'm going to have her look at how loud something else is, namely the kick drum. And every time that kick volume goes up, she's going to real quick turn the bass slider down. So the first thing I have to do is I have to send the kick drum over to the bass channel. So we're sending that over to the bass on 3/4 instead of 1/2. 1/2 is the main channel, that's what comes out of our master mix. So you can see over here, that's the bass, and then that's the kick. Now, I can add a compressor. Again, I'm going to use the one that comes built in with Reaper, but I'm just going to use Rea Comp, not Rea X Comp. Then here, for my detector input, I'm going to set it to auxiliary. I want to turn this down so that it's lower than the bass signal. A 1-to-1 ratio on a compressor is telling it not to do anything. I'm going to kick that up to a 4-to-1. I want this to be a really short. I just want it to come down right when that bass hits. I am going to pre-compress it just a hair at 6 milliseconds. This should get the bass out of the way of the kick. You hear that kick coming through now? Let's solo the bass so you can hear what that sidechain compressor's doing. You hear its volume dropping? They're real quick. Go ahead and put the kick in there. And everything. Let's listen to the whole song. There was that empty we left in last time. hear that? Here we go. I love that ending, especially me just... That was at the end of the drum take. I did that. I didn't even realize I did it, but it's just so cool there at the end. If you enjoy the video, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so I can tell you about future uploads. If you want to see some extra content, you want to get the tabs when everything's done, get the final mixes when everything's done, head on over to our Patreon, sign up over there. $1 a month gets you the tabs and the additional videos. So come back next week. We're going to get the acoustic sounding good. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.